Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kristina. Thank you so much for coming in. Be willing to offer us a few minutes of your time. I've got a couple of questions for you, if that's okay, and I want to speak a bit about your journey, if that's okay. So I am aware that you've been GDG, then a GDE, and at the moment you are an engineering manager at Google. How this thing has happened?
Well, thanks for the question. Yes, so my journey has been a long one towards Google, or being employed at Google. So first I became a GDG organizer in Oslo, where I was living. And I have been there since maybe 2014 and left my organizer post in 2020, right before the COVID started. And then in 2018, also with all the activities we were doing at GDG Oslo, we were organizing workshops and I gave talks as well. So I got this opportunity and I learned about GDE. And I became a GDE at the end in 2018 and been that until I joined Google in 2023. And now I'm engineering manager at Google, which is an amazing journey, but I would never thought about this when I first started as GDG organizer. That was, I probably always thought about, it would be cool to work at Google, but I didn't think in the beginning that it was possible. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing this. It's quite impressive, and it proves. It shows actually the fact that if you put your head into something, you are gonna get there. Would you agree?
Definitely. If you have a goal and if you can achieve what you want to. Sometimes it first might just be a dream, as for me, like it was a dream to be at Google. And then it becomes a goal, which is like maybe more attainable thing to do, and then it becomes your reality. For reference, if someone thinking about and have maybe the same thoughts and I had before, is like I've always thought and I always wanted, but something stopped me as like, the interview process, it's like 5-6 interviews. It's the also investment in lead code questions and coding. And it takes a lot of time to prepare. And for me, it was a stopper, okay, do I have the time to invest 2-3 months to solve lead code every evening and prepare for all the questions? And then at some point, I remember it was in also 2020, I decided that I will upgrade this dream to a goal. So it took me 3 years to get there.
That's impressive. That is generally impressive. I want to ask you something, because you did mention and you kind of offered this as an advice for everyone that wants to pursue a dream, not necessarily at Google, but generally speaking. What was a key moment? Because you've been going from being a GDG, then being a GDE, then working directly with Google. What was a key element or something that determined you saying, from today or from next month onwards, I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to do it? What pushed you towards that? Tough question.
Yeah.
Should we can circle back?
It's a tough question, and as I said, I always was thinking about it. Was on back of my mind, and maybe a longer story is so I used to have my own company, as independent consultant, like some of the people here in the community doing. So I was independent consultant for many years, and then at some point I was also doing my startup, so it's on the side. I was doing a startup project, and what happened is I was like quite happy with everything, but my co-founder decided that we are having like different goals, and so I talked to my very best friend, and I told her. So I said, I don't know what I should do. Should I continue and invest in my startup, be a sole founder? And we had a good traction on the project and everything. Should I apply to Google, which was my dream, or it was the third one, was a funny one, I do a PhD. And my friend, without even thinking, she said, go for Google. And I don't know, but that was, I remember when it happened, like how it happened and how I asked her. And I think this kind of helped me to realize, yeah, like I should do that. And I felt like I also had support from my best friends. So it kind of helped me to move forward.
Nice. So essentially it was just like a friendly nudge.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So as a conclusion, you would say, share this with your friends, share it with your community, your goals, your plan, and count on their help as well.
Yeah, definitely. So you're like, of course, maybe you're not saying all your steps to your friends and stuff, but there are moments where this small thing like what amazed me, she didn't even think. She didn't even ask me questions. She's like, oh, yeah, of course you should. Like, because she knows me so well, she knows that even maybe I didn't tell her before that it was my big dream, but she knows me that well. She's like, okay, you should do that, and I believe you can do it. And it just helps, right? So this one moment with a friend, because they know you well. Yeah, so you have the community, you have your friends, you have your family, and it helps.
That's very nice to hear. Thank you so much for that. I wanna ask you a bit about your position at the moment. So previous to this position, you were hands-on Android developer with 10 years of experience. How did that experience shape the manager that you are now? Like specifically your style of managing?
So that's very, I would say, interesting question and very complex one as well to answer. So it's definitely, as a engineering manager, it helps for you to be technical and understand all the technical aspects of the designs and architecture your team is working on. I've seen some companies where the manager might not be as technical as the rest of the team, and they have a TL that helps out. At Google, definitely it helps to be technical, and there is expectations for you to understand all the design documents, be able to review CLs or pull requests, and be able to contribute with your point of view on not only on like maybe product views, but also the technical part of it. So, but for me specifically, my Android expertise helps me, and also Android as like being an Android developer helps me to ask the right questions about the APIs we're developing. So for context, my team is working on open source library and the library that is used by developers, right? So I often put myself into their shoes and say, oh, what do we need to do to make it easy for developers, or the same Android developers like I am. Does it make sense what we do and stuff? So yeah, it helps to be technical. It helps to know the other side of the way like how people work. For instance, there are like our library or the team we are working. The team that is working is not, I think only a few of us have actually experience as Android developer, and usually it helps to be in the other person's shoes and try to understand how they would use these APIs. Yeah, so that's that's my few cents.
That, that's extremely interesting, to be honest with you, and I do understand. Specifically when you start explaining the stuff that you're working on, I have the advantage of being last week, 2 weeks ago, and seeing your talk live, which was quite interesting. I've got to say, that's why I was actually laughing when you were mentioning about this. I've got one last question, because I had a couple of questions, but you kind of covered pretty much everything. I really like that, actually. If you were looking at your entire journey from the, let's say, technical experience, if that's okay, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to yourself when you were just starting out, let's say in your first 6 months, 1 year approximately?
Well, that's a good question. So I would say for myself, get a mentor or a sponsor. So now it's very popular to say a sponsor and a mentor. They're very different people. Maybe not one mentor, maybe many mentors. Basically surround yourself with people who has the experience and more senior than you in that journey. Because for me, I felt that I didn't have that guidance throughout my career. What step is the best to take for my career? I just figured this out on the way. I felt I didn't have maybe the courage to ask people for help or for advice and to like just come by and say, oh, can you be my mentor? I definitely think that I should have more courage to ask them for advice or a meeting. And I do encourage people who are watching this, do not hesitate to ask for advice from a more senior, like software engineer or maybe a manager or anyone in your life that you think that you want to take that journey as they have already done, and get their opinion on that. So that would be my advice to myself.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Genuinely appreciate it for taking the time to have this conversation with me, and I'm looking forward for your next talks.